Hello everyone, this is Vicki here today, designing for Simple Stories, and I am using the new FaBOOlous collection. And I've been inspired by that crescent moon on that paper you just saw, which is called Batty for Candy. And what I want to do is create a large version of that onto my page. So this is the Halloween collection, as you can probably tell by looking at it. And I wanted to just do something a bit fun. So I draw a big circle. I think that's about 8 inches. Looks about 8 inches. So I draw a big circle, and then I'm going to draw another circle onto it, which I'm then going to use to cut my crescent. And you'll see what I do in just a second. So I'm just looking to see what the crescent's going to look like, and I want it to be quite curved around like in the picture. So what I do is I draw a smaller crescent in there and I actually cut it bigger, if you see what I mean. So I cut close to the circle on the points and I cut it bigger around, because I just want it to be really circular with that sweeping bit going up at the edge. So the next thing I want to do is create some an area for some embellishments on the left. So I'm just going to cut a few strips. These are just random. I'm not even really paying attention to the size of them, but I'm going to put them sort of like this. This isn't actually how I put them back on, but sort of like that, to create almost like an edging for that crescent. You can see how well those photos fit in there, so I was quite pleased with how that looked. So I'm just pulling out a couple of embellishments from the bits and pieces. And I'm looking for witchy things because I'm wearing a witch's hat. So I pull out a witchy broomstick and a witch's hat and a cauldron. And I'm liking those bits and pieces. So I'm going to take them off and start thinking about sticking things down. So there you go, simple, bit of double-sided tape. I also decide that I want to distress the edges of these strips. So I'm just using a pair of scissors because I couldn't find my edge distresser. Goodness only knows what's happened to that. And I'm just going to put those onto the page, just stick them down. And I'm sticking the two smaller pieces underneath that big piece. It's a bit fiddly. Should have put them down first, but there we go. So that just gives me really an edging, and I can put some of these vertical bits and pieces on here. I like how this is looking. So I'm thinking about a title, and I do think about using this, and I like how it looks, but I realised afterwards I wanted a bit of contrast. Because it was orange and the crescent moon is orange, I was worried that it would get lost a little bit. Although look at it now, I do quite like it. I'm just using my fingernails to distress the edge of the crescent moon as well, just so that so it looks a bit more dimensional. Okay, so now I am trying to find some other embellishments, and I really like that little witch's house there, haunted house, and so I'm going to use that as well. And I'm sort of getting to the point now where I think I want to stick things down, because if I don't, I'll lose where I want to put them. So I'm going to start doing that as well, and I'm going to put foam on the back of some of the things because I want them to pop off the page and be dimensional. And my layouts never end up in albums because I've run out, so it doesn't matter how dimensional they are anymore. So yeah, I just go for it now. Okay, so a bit of foam there on the hat, and I like that. That hat is just perfect for the hat I'm wearing in the photos. So yeah, that couldn't have been better. Okay, and then I'm going to put some foam behind the house there and stick that down, and I tuck it behind the moon because I don't want it to sit on top. In fact, I'm putting the foam on the photos first. There we go. I'm being really organised and getting those stuck down. Quite often those are the last things I stick down. but here we go. I'm putting tape and glue. I just find sometimes tape doesn't stay stuck, but I do want it to grab immediately. So the tape helps the grab and then the glue helps it to stick long term. Okay, so there we go. So as I said, I'm going to tuck the house behind because I think that looks quite nice. I don't want to lose that point of the moon, so I think it's best that it's tucked in there. And then the cauldron is going to go on top there as well. Hubble bubble, toil and trouble. Love it. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I can still see the point of the moon at the bottom and the top. So that was my plan for this layout. I like those little witchy shoes. So I'm going to put those just up above the broom. I would have put them below, but it just went too far down the page. So I decided to put those above, but they're perfect for the layout. So they're going on. And then that little flag just says Happy Halloween. And that sort of ties the top of the banner into the moon shape. So I quite like how that works. Okay, next up I'm thinking about my title, and I want to use the black. As I said, the orange seemed to get lost a little bit, so I like this, Spooktacular, and I think that works really well. Just adding a little bit of glue just to make sure it grabs, because it's half on the photos and half on the page, so it just helps with that extra grab. I think about putting a cat on, but I can't really make that cat work. But I do like this little spider that's hanging down, so I'm going to hang him from the moon. And I think that's pretty cute. And then I'm going to add these bats flying around my haunted house. Of course, there are bats by haunted houses. Where else would they be? And this little foam sticker that says spooky vibes, I'm just going to put that in above my photo. It's very sticky, so it took me a minute to get it into the right place without it sticking to other things. There we go. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to freehand draw some spider webs. And what I do is I do some lines radiating out from a central point. I'm sure you've drawn spider webs before, and then I just do sort of a curved line joining each one to each other. And I'm just using a fine line pen, so it's not too thick, it's quite thin. And I did practice on another piece of paper first, so I'm aware that I'm drawing directly onto my layout, so don't be too scared by that. Practice first, always. So I do one here, and I do two others, and I'm going to skip through because you don't need to see me drawing all 3 spider webs. There we go, one at the top right there and one down underneath the moon. And then I want to put some black splatters on there just to add that extra bit of interest. So I've got some black acrylic paint. That's all that is, black. Put a bit of water in it and flick down some drops. And I also put some drops around the haunted house area on the page. Just using my hand to make sure it doesn't splatter onto my photos. And that's it. There's the final layout. I really hope this has inspired you to make a Halloween layout. And if you don't have Halloween photos, you can always make them on Snapchat like I did. I cheated, yep. But I'm sure you guys have cute Halloween kid photos to use. So I would use those rather than the pictures of me in a witch's hat. But the close-ups are there as well for you to have a look at. If you have any questions, please just shout out. I'll be happy to help. And I will see you next time I do a video. But in the meantime, this has been Vicky for Simple Stories. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.